Hello and welcome to the massive open online course on ICT skills in education. Today we are dealing with the topic blended learning. Information and communication technology has made huge impact on all aspects of human life. It is because of latest advances in ICT that the possibilities of information, communication and collaborations have made the borders and barriers irrelevant. At the time when ICT has invaded every sphere of human activity, the teaching-learning processes cannot be the exception. The teachers are now using latest innovations with the help of ICT. Blended education, flipping the classroom, or hybrid education or blended learning is a mix of e-learning with classroom instruction. Blended learning is a more robust teaching model that is adopted by a school or an individual classroom. It is still formal learning as students are assessed on what they learnt both online and face-to-face. Here, we are neither totally dependent on technology nor we stick to the age-old traditional pedagogy. Blended learning is causing a paradigm shift in the way teachers provide instructions by inverting traditional teaching methods to engage students in the learning process. There is a provision to move out of the class and provide material and guidance to the students by means of online or offline videos. Let us make an attempt to focus and elaborate the need of blended learning in the current changing scenario of classroom. Blended classroom have been a new revolution in the educational world for some time now. The use of ICT in the classroom is the priority of teachers and educational administrators. As education-based technology and online platforms continue to grow and improve, more and more devices, programs and concepts are entering the educational world. Blended learning is the new teaching strategy in which students learn new content online by watching video lectures, usually at home, and what used to be that classroom homework is done in class with teachers, offering more personalized guidance and interaction with students instead of lecturing. Teachers can deliver this instruction by recording and narrating screencasts of work they do on their computers, creating videos of themselves teaching, or creating video lessons from trusted internet sites. Students can watch the videos or screencasts as many times as they need to, enabling them to be more productive learners in the classroom. Since direct instruction is delivered outside the group learning space, teachers can then use in-class time to actively engage students in the learning process and provide them with individualized support. In the traditional pattern of teaching, the students are forced to learn inside class every bit of the curriculum, and teachers usually stick to traditional method of lecturing or at the most to demonstrations. In blended learning, the students first study the topic by themselves, typically using video lessons prepared by the teacher. Flipping changes teachers from sage on the stage to guide on the side that allows them to work with individuals or groups of students throughout the sessions. Key element of the blended classroom are to provide a mechanism to assess students' understanding. This provides an opportunity to students to prepare for the class and also promote in-class activities that focus on higher level cognitive activities. Blended learning provides immediate feedback to the learners and they decide their own pace of learning, and the individual difference in the retention also does not become a hurdle in the learning process. Blended learning is now gaining popularity with the increase in the user-friendly ICT devices and easy access to such devices to the learners. Blended learning concept. Blended learning is live interaction between teacher and student that uses technology. Flexibility is the key for such interaction. Here, the learner can enjoy personalized learning that suits their study plan through blended tools. Learners are in close contact with the teachers and constant monitoring of the learning process ensured by means latest technological support. Teachers are also receiving instant feedback from the learners in this form of teaching. Students are personalizing their learning experiences by using additional tools beyond the classroom. This is a modernized way of teaching that can have a positive impact on students' training experience. This type of learning prepares students to work at digital-based jobs that require technology proficiencies. Through blended learning, institutions can create a balance between online education and face-to-face education. This encourages students to pursue the option of online courses that institutions offer. Blended learning can be defined as the combination of multiple approaches to pedagogy or teaching, for example, self-paced, collaborative, tutor-supported learning or traditional classroom teaching. Blended learning often provides provision for the use of resources which combine e-learning with other educational resources. Terms like hybrid learning, mixed learning, or multi-method learning are used for blended learning. However, all of those concepts broadly refer to the integration, the blending of e-learning tools and techniques with traditional methods. Blended learning is not really a concept, in fact, not really a new concept. Teachers have always been using combined resources. Basically, blended learning is just a combination of teaching or facilitation methods, learning styles, resource formats, a range of technologies, and a range of expertise. Blended learning is actually a sort of return to traditional learning concepts. The blended learning approach has been used for years in some disciplines, notably within the humanities. The students gain first exposure learning prior to class and focus on the processing part of learning like synthesizing, analyzing, and problem solving in the class. To ensure that the students do the preparation necessary for productive class time, an assignment-based model in which students produce work prior to class. The students receive productive feedback on the students' work. The reason that flipped classrooms are improving education around the world is because the role of the teacher has been flipped from a lecturer to a tutor. The focus of the classroom transforms one size fits and all instruction into individualized coaching. Procedure and models of blended learning. The most obvious reason why schools and teachers enjoy a blended learning model is that it increases engagement. Most of the children 8 to 12 years old have a phone, usually smartphone, which is like having a handheld computer. The blended learning provide a golden opportunity for students to use their smartphones for classroom activities and learn online at their own pace. Procedure. Blended classroom works in the following way. At the first instance, the teacher provides students with digital instruction to watch at home or after school. After watching the instruction, students familiarize themselves with the concepts to be covered in the class the following day. The students spend class time completing assignments based on the previous night's instruction with the assistance of teachers. At the end, students with a firm grasp of the lesson are encouraged to move on, and students who need assistance have a teacher readily available to help. The use of blended technique may sound like a matter of convenience as it involves larger participation of learners. This engagement is a powerful technique. In a blended learning environment, students are continuously connected to the content. Many learning styles are stimulated through various technologies and digital media, helping the students comprehend, retain, and apply information. Models. There are many models of blended learning. Some of the models are face-to-face driver model. This is a softer approach to blended learning. The lecture will always be in person. An individual teacher will add content online to support the curriculum. For example, in-class lectures are supported by supplementary lectures and virtual world activities found online. Rotation model. The rotation model is a fixed schedule of in-classroom and online instruction. It alternates between an in-classroom lecture supported by online study and an online lecture with supporting classroom activities. For example, in week 1, students will have face-to-face lectures and activities will be online. In week 2, students will watch online lectures and the classroom will be used for activities. Flex model. In the flex model of blended learning, students learn primarily online while the classroom is used for tech support. Online lab model. In this model of blended learning, courses are taught fully online but supervised by an adult in physical classroom. As schools face increasingly tighter resource constraints, the online lab model of blended learning is a viable option for helping students complete courses, including those not offered at the specific school site. In this scenario, students learn entirely online but travel to a dedicated computer lab to complete their coursework. Adults supervise the lab, but they are not trained teachers. This is not only allowing schools to offer courses for which they have no teacher or not enough teachers, but also this allows students to work at a pace and in a subject area that suits them without affecting the learning environment of other students. Self-blend model. In the self-blended model, the students take extra courses online. This is common for students wanting to take advanced courses for college or at-risk students who need extra coursework to graduate. Online driver model. The teaching in the model is also taught fully online. It is self-paced with teachers checking in on a student and providing support as and when needed. Although face-to-face check-ins are optional, students can usually chat with teachers online if they have questions. This model of blended learning is ideal for students who need more flexibility and independence in their daily schedules. This approach is becoming increasingly popular every year. Each year, the number of students participating in online drive programs increase by about 15%. Significance and benefits of blended learning. The blended learning has tremendous significance in the present educational scenario as the education at present is largely dependent on ICT. Following significances can be attached with the blended learning. The learner can learn the concepts and skills at his own pace. The learner feels free in the total process of learning. The blended learning encourages students to participate actively in the learning process. It also encourages the students to use the ICT devices, especially the smartphones. It encourages collaborative learning, which enhances social interaction among students, making it easier for them to learn from one another and for those of varying skill levels to support their peers. The blended learning has several benefits. More efficient for teachers. The blended learning is very good teaching strategy for teachers. Initially, it may be a bit difficult for teachers when they have to prepare videos and other PPTs for the first time, but later the same may remain available for future use. The same can be made available online as well. Students can control their learning. Research has shown that we all learn in different ways and at different speed. If students are learning content at home, they can take their own time to read through a passage, rewatch a video lecture, or even initiate a Google search so as to better understand an idea. Instructors can also post multiple kinds of material so that students are more likely to find a source that will help them, whether it's an article, video, or interactive tool. Blended learning is economical. Besides investing in a new video camera or better classroom computers, the only other thing you need is time. Here the students can be encouraged to use common electronic gadgets like mobile phones for learning. This model is much more cost effective for schools than purchasing hundreds of new classroom gadgets to increase engagement. High level of collaboration. Blended learning has got a great benefit of encouraging collaboration. The teachers can share so many different kinds of content. Learning isn't restricted to a whiteboard or textbook. Instead, students can be directed to any website, mobile application, or other kind of content. Teachers can create learning modules that allow students to quickly jump from one resource to the next. Inclusiveness. All categories of students, slow learners, children with special needs, and students which have difficulty with concepts can pause and rewind the videos to give themselves extra time to pass out or what a teacher means. That's one of the most powerful things about these videos, that students who process slower can process lower. Blended classroom learning and changing role of administrators. The rise of blended learning has made the training community re-examine the traditional roles. Now, many trainers prefer to use the word facilitator, someone who empowers learning and tries to craft the most effective learning journey. The facilitator's job consists of creating content for online and classroom use, using online social tools to generate discussion among learners, adapting the content to get the most from the learning experience, assess the work of the learners and the results of the training. The administrator's role in implementing blended learning is as critical as instructional leaders and lead learners in their schools. They can support innovation, provide collaborative time and professional development, assign resources to innovative teachers, communicate with parents about new teaching strategies, and provide feedback and a view from outside the classroom. Administrators also continue to support the use of video within instruction and believe that it has an important role within classrooms today and tomorrow. Approximately 1/4 of school principals indicated that their teachers are using videos they found online or creating their own. Blended learning with traditional learning. To read textbooks and work on assignments outside school while listening to lectures, doing some discussions and taking tests in class are the basic features of traditional learning. On the other hand, the students first study the topic by themselves, typically using video lessons prepared by the teacher, and then return to the class, apply the knowledge by solving problems and doing practical work is the blended teaching strategy. In blended learning, students learn by doing and asking questions. Students help each other, a process that benefits both the advanced and less advanced learners. Blending also helps in changing the allocation of teachers engaged with the students who ask questions to those who don't ask but tend to need the most attention. Blended learning is a blend of different learning modes and materials coordinated to help learners meet their own educational goals and objectives more effectively than learning in traditional environments. Blended learning combines the best aspects of online and instructor-led learning and is provided in a one-on-one or small group instructional setting. The content is carefully designed and customized where learners can access on their own time and work on their own pace. Effective learning. Blended learning is more effective than traditional methods because learners can focus on content like new vocabulary or pronunciations while using their self-paced online material on their own time. In live sessions, the tutor can work with learners to support their unique needs and goals. No class time is wasted covering material learners already know or that they can practice on their own. Learning is maximized with more effective and authentic learning time in each environment. Customized content. In a traditional classroom setting, learners are one of many. Their individual needs are not taken into account and they are merged into a one-size-fits-all curriculum. This can be costly and time-consuming. Learners only work on what is relevant and important specific to them with our blended learning program. No fear factor. Customization takes the anxiety out of learning since learners can ask their tutors any questions directly. This not only spares the embarrassment but gives the learner more focused learning and feedback. Learners can use their online program to practice vocabulary, expressions and structures before meeting their tutor, which can speed up the learning process. With a blended solution, anxiety over tests and grades or fear of failing are eliminated since the pass or fail of a traditional learning environment is irrelevant. Motivation. The tracking and assessment control built into blended learning allow learners to receive instant feedback and track their own progress, which enable them to remain more motivated in achieving their own desired goals and objectives. Qualified tutors provide a learning environment enriched with culturally appropriate and relevant material, so the learning experience becomes even more engaging, effective, and exciting. Flexibility. Advanced technology makes it possible for learners to have more choice and control over the delivery of their learning. Blended learning allows for instant access to information anywhere in the world as long as a learner has a computer or a smartphone and an internet connection. Live instruction, whether face-to-face or virtual, is built around the learner's availability and allows for greater flexibility, unlike the traditional learning environments where learners have to attend classes at a fixed date and time. Now, limitations of blended learning. Here are the list of things that can be challenging as you incorporate blended learning into your classroom. High maintenance cost, technological dependence, wastage of offered resources. Hence, to achieve your learning objective in the best possible manner, the content developers have to incorporate the technological and other relevant aspects wisely in the learning content. After all, blended learning creates more engagement amongst the learners, increases the rate of retention in organizations, keeps learners more motivated, provides the best learning environment, and facilitates both the personal and professional development programs. Indeed, it has the values of traditional learning and at the same time, it offers great feasibility by leveraging technological advancements to save time and money both. This learning strategy has now given rise to many learning platforms globally and is now one of the most adopted learning tools. Let me summarize the session. We all know that our present students were born after the World Wide Web came out in 1991. Imagine how technology has made their childhood vastly different from ours. Today's 17-year-old was born in 2001, the same year a human received the first artificial heart. In 2007, the world got its first iPhone. Our new generation students only know a life with technology, so we can see why blended learning is not a trend but the new pedagogy. Blended learning are shifting the way teachers provide instruction by inverting traditional teaching methods to engage students in the learning process. Using technology, lectures are moved out of classroom and delivered online as a means to free up class time for interaction and collaborations. This metacognitive approach to instruction can help students learn to take control of their own learning by defining learning goals and monitoring their progress in achieving them. Although students thinking about their own learning are not an inherent part of the blended classroom, the higher cognitive functions associated with the class activity accompanied by the ongoing peer-instructor interaction that typically accompanies them can readily lead to the metacognition associated with deep learning. In order to effectively implant a blended learning, teachers must possess a set of requisite technical skills, conceptual knowledge and pedagogical expertise. Thank you for watching today's program. We can meet again in another session. Have a nice day.